This playthrough is rated E for everyone. The journey may be over, but we're not quite done with this game yet. Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare here with a bonus episode of Grandia. You know, last time we played, we beat the game, and I didn't really get a good chance to talk over everything I thought about the game during it, because I didn't want to talk over the cutscenes and stuff like that. So I thought this episode would be the best way. Also, I decided to grind out a lot, max out my levels and my stats. So this is everyone at max stats. This is without finding fruits and everything like that to grind it. So I got everyone up to 99. That's their max level for weapons and spells. I think in an earlier episode I said 255 was their max level. For some reason I was saying Star Ocean levels for some reason when I was doing it, so a bit of a mess up on mine. If I did say that, that could have been a failed recording too, I'm not sure, but I'll say it here anyway. But yeah, my MP is maxed out. HP didn't quite get to 999. It is possible if you get the fruits, but I didn't want to grind fruits. I just want to show what happens if you maxed out all your weapons and abilities by this point. And weirdly enough, vitality does not go up very much, as you can see here. We got pretty decent strength from Rapid Justin, and yeah, not so much from Lete because of her. She only has the one weapon, so yeah, I think yeah, Fina ends up having the lowest vitality. Wit-wise, looks like it's Rap at the highest wit, and agility-wise, looks like it's Rap, which means he just basically runs across the battlefield almost instantly. With Wit, we almost run circles around enemies by this point. It's kind of crazy. Like, oh, we finally got the final spell in the game. I said I was gonna show it off at one point. For level 1, and that's Time Gate. Yeah, it costs all her magic to cast it. Basically, we're just gonna fight the bosses again, but I'll just talk over the bosses and everything like that this time. Yeah, it was kind of annoying to grind this whole level. I do like this final section here where we're going through the Billy the Beast and everything like that. I'll probably turn down the music or the sound while it records, so barely audible, that way I can talk over it. So if you want to see the ending where I don't talk to a lot, then just watch the finale. This is all just for those who want to get a little extra for it. And we come across Ball in his final form right here. Yeah, this guy, like I said during the main gameplay, I was always wondering where Ball's motivation for pure power was. I mean, it could have been a case of, you know, he's just a guy who wanted pure power. But I always wanted there to be more motivation. Mullen never talks much about it, and I think Ball doesn't say much. You think you're not sure what he's going to be when he first starts out the game, sitting in that chair. Who knew he'd be the one that almost destroyed the world because of things going on. Let's see what happens if we just physically attack him. Or actually, let's see what happens when we Dragon King slice him. I want to cast Time Stop at one point, so just to see what how much damage we do with the Spirit Sword and stuff like that. 9,000 damage. That's actually not bad. I thought it'd be a lot more damaging or whatever. So, and yeah, now everyone could cast like the strongest spells in the game. Might as well do that just to show him off if I hadn't shown him off before. But yeah, Ball is an interesting character just because it's like, why did he do all this? Like, I thought there'd be some explanation, like maybe the death of his wife or something like that, but it sounds like he basically manipulated her and everything like that. Okay, did I ever show off? I don't think I ever showed off magic art, now that I think about it.
Go, magical art.
Actually, no, I think I did, never mind. It's just, yeah, she just draws a picture of it. That's right. I think I did show this off. I don't know, Liete just gets so cute in the game. Like, you think she's gonna be like this robot type of character or whatever, and then she ends up being like, you know, quite endearing. Yeah, look how much SP I've got too from everything. Yeah, even with all my stats, my magic doesn't really do a whole lot more damage against it. It's really your weapon attacks that are really gonna do all the damage. You know, it's kind of crazy when you think about that. Magic only gets so powerful in the game. Let's see how much Heaven and Earth is at this point. I mean, I like the idea of Ball as a guy who just wanted pure power, but I feel like there could have been like some scenes with more motivation. Oh, look at that, 3,000. There we go. I should see what Neo Ball does to him. But like I said, I wish there was more to it, or more scenes with him, maybe to his motivation other than beating the world. I think it's a JRPG. Sometimes it's just a case of a crazy man wants to beat this ultimate power, and he gets evolved into this like plant-like creature. Did I do 7,000 damage? Wow, we could have finished him off in one turn. That's crazy. Right there.
Yeah, we won, guys.
Yeah, Justin gets the victory cry no matter what because it's the end of the game. I don't want to get an experience. I can't get experience. Look at that. Everything's at 9999 at this point because I maxed out all my weapon skills and everything like that. Yeah, and overall, the final bosses of the game are kind of... Yeah, and obviously Ball himself becomes kind of pathetic. He evolves into a worm. Although I guess if you believe in Hinduism, that'd be his recompense for what he did, his reincarnation or whatever. Alright, just accept it, Ball. You failed. You almost destroyed the world, and for what? Your high evolution, which ended up being Bupkis. We found it in a Cracker Jack box. But, yeah, overall, the final bit of the game isn't super hard as long as you fought everything. You don't even have to fight everything once, really, to tell you. I did that because I'm used to that. And that's a rule of thumb for any RPGs for me personally, is always fight everything you run across once. And then if you ever backtrack, you could avoid it. You don't have to fight it again. As long as you do it once, usually most RPGs will give you enough to... I didn't even cast time stop. Well, I'll just do it on the final boss then. I completely forgot I was going to do that. That was the whole point, and I didn't even do that. Well, this is like kind of a... And yeah, here's the final stash of the game. Yeah, when I played this, I skipped this because I didn't need it. And I've heard of people just accidentally missing this and just going forward because they didn't see it or whatever, and there's no save spot. So I feel bad for people who did all that work and didn't even save at the previous save spot and have to do this dungeon all again. That would definitely be a case of, I'm not going to play this game again, or at least come back later to re-record. And yeah, here's the real final boss, because the final boss isn't really that much of a challenge. And even then, we beat this guy really easily. I almost thought about playing this game in a low level run, just to see how well I do. And all it would have done was it would have dragged out the battles. That's all it would have done. And I felt like that wasn't entertaining enough. Overall, like, I do really like this game, but the game gets way too easy by the end of the game. I think it's more, the game was, I mean, obviously it was the first. I know it wasn't Game Art's first game, but it was the final, it's their first game to do this type of thing. So obviously they weren't going to perfect a lot of the gameplay mechanics in the first game, you know. I'll just attack him first before I cast, just because I want to show off time stop. I wonder how much Red Shock does at your level.
Here we go.
Probably not. Probably not a crazy amount. Because killer boos are usually the bigger damage dealers. Decent damage for final bit. I'm just doing regular stuff until I can get to times. Look how fast they run across the field at max agility. That's just like... Whoop, 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 whoop. Alright, let's cast time stop just to show that off. Or time gate, sorry. Yeah, even I'm at max level, it still doesn't have max rating. Which, that's crazy. That's like the only spell in the game that can't have max rating is time gate. Alright, let's show it off.
Oh, spirits of blue, hold the bells of time that peal forever.
Actually, will that even work on the final boss? I don't know, actually. And the music stops. Only Fina goes, too. Yeah, it stops everything. So now she could just, like, you know, do whatever attacks or abilities on the final boss by herself. So I like how it slows down the wah wah wah. Even though you never get to see it unless you like spam enemies and over and over and over again, grinding forever just to do it. I mean, it's a major reward because it basically stops even the final boss of the game. I actually forgotten if it actually worked on the final boss. I wonder how many times how many turnarounds we get to do with that. And I already showed off World Tree at one point, so look at that. That spell just went instant. I like the idea of the boss, the final boss of the game, the two spears on the side, and you have to deal with them, beat them before getting to the main guy. But you could, you know. But I finished this fight so fast, even without max levels, that it never really came up because they're supposed to summon tentacles and stuff like that to fight us. But since I beat him so quickly, it never came up. And apparently, she gets quite a few turns like this. Yeah, look how fast she moves in just on screen when she has her agility. I'm genuinely curious how long this actually lasts. I don't remember when I first got this spell. I don't think I ever used her. I used it once because I only grinded ever to the final. There we go. Wow, you get quite a few turns with time stop, which makes sense it uses up all your magic for the final bit of the game, you know, against the final boss. But once again, if you've been at least doing a decent amount of like fighting enemies over the course of the game, then this part's pretty easy overall. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how even if now if I actually did max my stats out like 999 and everything, it'd probably be a lot more dangerous or easy to kill this guy. But I wanted to see what show you what happens if you just go after him without you know grinding fruits and everything like that. Yeah, 3,000 damage. Huh. And this guy's so slow compared to us because our width's so high. I did like during the boss fight where you could have multiple different songs. All the battle themes basically come in, mix, change up. So the idea is cool. It's just the battle didn't last long enough for it to be worthwhile overall. They do fix a lot of the problems in this game in the sequel for sure. Yeah, we just keep attacking him. Same thing. Yeah, this guy's the joke boss of the game where you pretty much have to just attack him and that's pretty much it. Because you already did all your... I like how the look of it. I talked about it before, but it kind of looks like maybe Gaia's corrupted or that maybe that's Mole inside of him or something like that. Even though Mole turned into that worm, I feel like Mullen was corrupted or absorbed into the creature and it turned into something like this. You know, Gaia can use the spores to change into other things, so I wonder if, you know, Mullen turned it... Or not Mullen, Ball turned into that as well. Yeah, creepy face. You could always scare people with like the facial recognition, you know, where it's just a piece of a man or skin just hanging out, just waiting to be released from the cocoon or whatever. Yeah, another fight where, yeah, all he did stray him, like he's got to beef himself up. I'm about to murder him, and he's almost done, son. But I still like the boss fight, even despite it being so easy overall. I mean, like I said, if I was low level, it probably wouldn't have been that big of a challenge. And the way he explodes with all the spirits popping out. Take this, Gaia. You fool. Yeah, it almost makes me wonder during the...
Yeah! We won, guys!
You know, I think they should have had a unique quote for killing Gaia, like, at the end. Like, everyone should have had a line or something like that. I feel like... I do strongly think that this game was rushed at the end. I really do, because as much as I like this game, the game really up to maybe the final continent, you know, East Valencia, I think the rest of it was really well designed and flowed pretty well. But as soon as we got to Valencia, especially when you get Liete, I always feel like the game kind of goes on the fast track. Like maybe they were running out of money and they needed to get this game out by a certain time. And so they just had to touch up the rest that they could. That's why I feel like the final boss is too easy overall. The final dungeon isn't that long. A lot of major story beats kind of get wrapped up so fast. You know, Justin's being alone by himself didn't last very long. Not that it needed to. I don't know. It feels weird. Like I said, like 2/3 of the game is really, really good, and then the final half feels like it was rushed. And even then, for a game like that, that's kind of crazy. I still consider this one of my top 10 favorite RPGs of all times, next to like some of the others. I don't know if I want to mention my list of my favorite games of all times. Yeah, I liked Liete's character. I wish she was with us a little bit longer. I liked the idea of her character being like this person who was just isolated from the world, and then Justin's like, hey, experience it, I'll make you happy. And she's like, okay, and then she ends up being super goofy when you think about it. Outside of her dialogue, like the faces she makes, like when she's in combat, sometimes she'll say some really silly stuff. So it's kind of like the twist. Maybe because she's naive or childlike, it's hard to say. And the rap, I really wish there was more to rap. You know, I don't know. I feel like he's kind of like, he joins us as a final party member, yet he doesn't really, like, he's kind of the dumb fighter, like, dumb kid, like, fighter type of character who just punches through things and that's it. And there's not much more to him. You know, I mean, we get his motivation for everything, but that's pretty much it. Like, I mean, I thought Gadwin and Sue were, I mean, I'm not saying Rap's a bad character. What I'm saying is, like, I thought Sue was more interesting, you know, because we had her for so long. Gadwin, even for the short time we had him. Milda, for sure. Yeah, Milda was also a meathead, but I don't know. There's just something endearing about her. And then Guido was really interesting too, but because he has no magic, there's not much he can do, and he wasn't as strong. But I thought he was interesting. I know why he leads the party is because, you know, he's the elder of a village. He's got responsibilities, and the whole idea was to prepare for Gaia, so that makes sense. But Rap feels like also another character that was kind of not utilized well enough. I don't know. As a character, it feels like something was missing from him. Well, let's keep going on, obviously, because I'm going to talk through the final cinematics anyway. Fina and Justin, I'll talk about that when they show that part off, but yeah, Justin, I think what I really like about this game is I think it shows off a really good sense of adventure, but also shows off what the adventure gave to Justin. It started out as like a childlike fantasy to, you know, just find stuff and travel the world and find out, but then he eventually gets wrapped up into saving the world. I think the game, one of the main things about Grandia is maturity. Is Justin, and Justin's never a bad kid. It's just he finds out that he has more responsibilities and more things that you need to do in the world, just that other than just you know, getting your fix in life. You know, like sometimes helping others and saving the world, having a higher purpose. There's more to it than just, you know, wanderlust and stuff like that. Fina's a weird character too, because I really like Justin and Fina because they're the main characters of the game. But Fina's weird because she starts off as like a pretty competent adventurer, and then she joins us because because of Justin's you know, youthful energy, naivete, maybe, and a couple other things really got her invested to go on her own adventures with Justin, because that raptured her to him, and she's like, oh, I'll join with you because you're putting in me a new sense of adventure that I didn't have before. Oh yeah, this was kind of cool too, just him chopping it up. But after a point, Fina kind of almost, like, for being this competent adventurer, she almost goes on a downward spiral where she has a use, obviously, being in the Ikarian of the group and trying to save the world, but something changes about her where she doesn't become as confident, she becomes less, you know, not interesting, that's not the word I'm trying, like I said, less confident really is the word I'd be, and more things come about her, obviously with her relationship with her sister Ween and everything. That she, like, Justin has to kind of take care of everything for her, and her potential kind of gets lost, I think, near the end. Even though she still saves the world from being an Ikarian, I think it all works. It's just I've noticed little ticks in the game, like story beat wise could have been fixed, maybe tightened up a little bit better or something like that. But Fina and Justin probably is one of my favorite, like, relationships or romances in an RPG, and that's saying a lot from games that have straight romance in their games, like Final Fantasy VIII, for example, is a very heavy romance game. Although, to tell you the truth, I'm actually not a big fan of Renoa and Squall, especially Renoa. I don't hate Renoa, but I just don't like her, like, that romance. I just never felt it. I know it's supposed to be a teenager romance, so, like, it's different from, like, when you're an adult. Even when I was a teenager, I didn't like it. Sorry, this isn't about Final Fantasy VIII, by the way. But, yeah, they saved the world and everything like that. And, yeah, I like how with the spirits finally coming out. I'm trying to remember how early the spirits appear in the game. I know they mainly appear when we leave to New Parma. I think it's the first time they appear. I'm trying to remember if they actually appear when in Parm when we were there in the first place. I don't think so. I think it was until we got to the new continent that they really we saw them, especially during the events when we were the brave couple or whatever. Yeah, that's a tough thing in this game after going through everything. What's your favorite moment in the whole game? Although I do really like the end. Yeah, them holding hands at the end. I just love the relationship that builds. And they almost say they love each other, like halfway through the game when they leave, when Gawain and Sue lead them. That was a really nice, touching moment that I never really talked about. How much that they, because they were isolated, obviously, they had each other, but they were about to spill out their love for each other. Then it wasn't until the end where Justin almost lost Fina that he said, oh, I love her, you know, that type of thing. So, yeah, it never goes into super kissy-kissy territory, which is fine. This game is an adventure game. The romance is supposed to be kind of that side thing that happens in the background or that gets touched upon, but you never see it. If I want a romance game, I'll play a romance game. I'll play a dating novel or something like that instead. And I don't really talk about it. Well, I did bring it up a couple times, but the voice acting, like, when I first played the game, I never actually had an issue with the voice acting, but when you get older, you notice the point outs of it. But then now playing it again, I'm perfectly fine with the voice acting. I think it's charming. It's like Resident Evil type of thing. It's not actually Resident Evil bad, because I think that was almost bad on purpose. This is people actually trying to voice it. I still say rap still is the worst voice acting in the game, according to everyone else. But and also another thing about this game is that too many weird instances where characters having portraits but not doing anything really, like that frog fortune teller guy. I feel like that's why I feel like the game was rushed at the end. I feel like he was supposed to have like a side quest or a story that he was supposed to give us, and nothing really came of it. Or Guido's like niece or whatever. She has a few lines, but she never has a major voiced line.
Everything has been freed from the web of evil.
Actually, Mullen's voice is kind of not that great either. I do like seeing, and the fact you didn't even get to go to the old towns by the end of the game. It felt like they had to rush it. That's why they prevent us from going back to certain areas to talk to them to unlock dialogue, because they're like, oh, well, let's just say it's locked off. Yeah, that's it. So we don't have to write dialogue for that. And, but I do like all the characters being here. Gadwin, Guido, Liete, the three officers helping out. I kind of wish there was a growth with them too, because it feels like there's not really. It's kind of like you fight them and you make fun of them a couple times, and then at the end they're all like, oh, we're saving the world. I'm like, oh, there wasn't really a major moment where they really turned from like being just enemies in the Garl army to being like these helpful allies, you know. Except when they tell Justin to leave. I think it's appropriate that Mullen's the one talking here. And obviously another favorite moment of the game is, you know, Lean coming back to life. I know a lot of people nowadays would be like, oh man, that ruins her sacrifice and all this other stuff. And I'm like, dude, I you know, sometimes this game was never meant to be this dark, depressing game. You know, it needed a happy ending. If you want to play the more of a dark version of the game, play the sequel. And it's not even that super dark, but it is darker themed than this one is overall. But yeah, Lean coming back was just, you know, just a joy to watch, because, you know, she sacrificed herself, so she made an effort to save the world, and the spirit's like, hey, she tried to save the world, we'll give her back, you know. Yeah, this game was just meant to be a happy, lucky adventure game with a simple save the world story, and I love it for that. Yeah, favorite moment in the game. I'm still trying to say what my favorite moment in the game is, though. After playing it through this whole time, I always feel like the first time we go to New Parm and we explore New Parm from that is a really great moment, you know. And yeah, them getting together, holding their hands and hugging. You know, the whole they finally realized they love. Well, Lean loved him, but she never said it. And Mullen's like, okay, I love you. It reminds me of I think it was called like Scride or Scridius or whatever. It was an anime about a guy who like had a weird arm or whatever. And this scene reminds me of that before, except that girl in that anime died. I think it was called Scride or whatever. But it kind of reminds me of that not the main character's relationship, but like an antagonist of his and his relationship with his female associate. It reminds me of that strongly. Although anime likes to use in a lot of similar concept and character beats. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was copied multiple times in stories and stuff like that.
Here, Justin.
Yeah, too bad Justin's mom didn't get to make another appearance except during the epilogue here. I thought that she would have been a cool character. Although if you want a cool mom that interacts with the story a lot, you play Grandia 3. Grandia 3 is an interesting one if I ever get to that one of these days. I think I do want to get to it at some point. And same with Grandia 2. But yeah, I love the ending here too. Just everyone getting together and saving the world, like I said. Yeah, I'd say, God, yeah, there's so many great moments in this game that I like how, at least in the early parts of the game, they really set on the moments where, look at this mountain. Look at where we're going. You know, at the Great Wall, at the end of the world, or when they traveled to the top of the end of the world, that was fantastic too. You know, or the brave couple scene, even though that was technically a side quest, that was kind of, I like that. That was like a funny, entertaining moment of the game. Just this whole game just has a sense of fun, adventure, funny, you know, Japanese-isms and stuff like that. Just overall, it's just an enjoyable game. And yeah, this whole episode's basically me just doing like commentary out over everything and what I thought about the game overall. Yeah, like I said, the game was too easy, and obviously maybe the story was too simple, but the story part's fine, and the gameplay's fine too because of what the game was. If you want more detailed stuff, you go to the sequels. They do eventually fix it for how many games they had. Interesting enough, there actually is a Game Boy Color game called, like, I think it's like Grandia, not Extreme. Grandia is something. I never played it. It was translated not too long ago. I might play that one of these days as like a one-off. I don't know if I actually want to do a whole series on the game I never actually played. Yeah, they did Grandia 1, 2, 3, Extreme, and that's it, unfortunately. Yeah, I kind of sad that the Grandia era ended during the PS2 era. I would have loved to see like a PS3 or PS4 era, but unfortunately JRPGs don't really do as well anymore as they used to be. Some do, but it's like niche. It's like your Final Fantasies and stuff like that. We don't get as many awkward games anymore in America. If you want to play with some of the weirder RPGs, you have to like get them translated or get them from overseas, from like the Asian market. So, but yeah, overall, I hope people really enjoyed my playthrough of this. I probably could have done it a little bit better in the end. Let's see. Yeah, Angela Anderson, Blaney, Aikman, Sharon. Where's Rap? John W. We don't even get his last name. I guess even he was just saddened by that. No. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I hope people enjoyed it. I think maybe I could have done a little bit differently with the whole dialogue system where people are talking to people. Maybe I could have reduced how much I went to it. Maybe I could have in the future looked over certain dialogue and skipped over stuff that wasn't entertaining. But I wanted to show everything because that was for like 2/3 of the game. That's a really big deal where you interact with these people, you get their stories, and sometimes you get conclusions, sometimes you don't. But it made the world feel alive, you know, as you were journeying on this adventure. I almost kind of wish you could have gone back to Old Towns during the game just to see what things happened, but you could just leave that up to like your imagination. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about my feelings of the game overall. So yeah, great music, great characters, great story, great setup, you know, leaves it up for more interesting stories down the line. And I still consider this one of my top 10 favorite RPGs of all time. I don't think anything will change that. Maybe one day I'll play another one of my top 10 favorites. I try to keep those for special occasions, you know what I mean? And it should be resetting here pretty soon. And I guess I'm not really sure what else to say about this game. I really just wanted to talk about the ending and how I love the epilogue. I love the epilogue because we get to see Sue older. We finally get to see her as a beautiful woman, and she is a beautiful one. I like her design. I almost kind of wish there had been a sequel to this game, like maybe like Sue going on an adventure of her own or something like that. Just now that she's old enough to go on an adventure, we could have seen what she could have done. And yeah, the world gets very egalitarian and stew potty after the world is saved. I guess it makes sense because how many years has it been? I think she's supposed to be. See, she's 7 by this point. I think it's 10 years later because she's supposed to be 17 by this point in the game, if I remember correctly. And yeah, at least we get to hear Lily one more time. Too bad we don't get to see Lily's model, and we don't get to see Justin or yeah, 10 years. We don't get to see Justin or Fina's final form, which is kind of disappointing. I know why. It's just to like, oh, leave it up to your imagination. Yeah, we don't even get to see what happens to Justin's antagonist in this town. Remember the kid that they were like going on co-op adventures with, or you know, against each other. We never know what happens to him. His brother had a portrait, but his brother never made an appearance again. I thought the brother was going to make an appearance, going to be in the army, following you the whole time with the Garla army, but he never makes another appearance ever again. So that was another missed opportunity. I think this game has. I love this game, but there's a lot of missed opportunities in this game. Oh well. Too bad when they did the redo for this, all they did was a re-enhanced version. All they did was upgrade the graphics, and that's all they did. And all they did was put a patch in it to like smooth out the graphics. They didn't actually really do anything with the gameplay. That's why I didn't do the reimagining or redos that they did a few years ago, where it was like 1 and 2 packaged together. I never played those. Maybe one day I'll play those, but but I'll do that on my own time. I don't need to record it again. As much as I like this game, I think one recording's enough. There's I think that's the niece right there. If you could see the Guido's niece right there, but they don't even talk to her. Oh no, there's another one, so I don't know. Never mind. Yeah, I like the fact that Fida and Justin kind of got it on, if you know what I mean. Like, how many kids do they have? That's crazy. But then again, this is back in the before times. People would have like a ton of kids. Like, was it let's see, he got 6 kids. Of course, weird that they all look the same. That's a little weird, but yeah. And they're so cute too, especially the little Fina's the daughters. But how'd they get all the same clothes? It's just supposed to be funny. What, is it 5? I thought I saw another kid. Maybe it is only 5. Yeah, Puff. Yeah, they just have some cute designs for being their kids. And of course, all the boys have runny noses and everything like that. Yeah, I love the epilogue just because it kind of gives a nice little bow to the end of the game, like what happened with Fina and Justin, you know. They traveled the world and got it on. Sorry, I'm just quoting Incredibles with that. But yeah, Sue grows up quite beautiful, like she says. And too bad we don't get to see like Gadwin or Milda or anyone else at the end. But obviously this is me just wanting more from the game. And the game didn't need to give us this stuff. It's fine. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just really enjoyed playing this game. I'd been waiting for years to record this, but I didn't know the right time to play it. And at some point, it just goes, you know what? I got 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to play Grandia and just do it. You know what I mean? I think I'll try to play more RPGs I really like in the future, just because, you know, I'm only getting so old and there's only so much time left. And I'm not playing many new games anymore, so... Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed my commentary of the final level again and just beating the bad guy pretty quickly. I hope you enjoyed this too. So thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next game.